Hi everybody and welcome back to another episode of The More You Know with St. Jerome. This time we're going to be tackling nouns in English. Now thankfully nouns are probably the easiest thing in English ever. Nouns are people, places, things, ideas. Ta-da! Obviously, grammarians categorize a lot more than that, but most people know a noun when they meet one. It is a thing. It is a chair, it's an idea, it's freedom, whatever. We're good. Now, the important things about nouns in English is what they do in a sentence. This term is syntax. Syntax means what is this word doing in a sentence? And you're like, okay, nouns, what do nouns do in the sentence? Nouns are the things in a sentence. Right. Nouns are the subjects. They do the verb. Nouns are the object. They receive action. Nouns are objects in prepositional phrases. So, on the table, under the table, with the table, by the table. Those words are all prepositions and the noun follows. And that's pretty much how they're used in English. Subject, direct object, indirect object, object of a preposition. Okay, and what's an indirect versus a direct object? Direct object receives the action of the verb. Indirect object is generally with the preposition to. Right, it gets something. I give the ball to Tommy. I come up with the worst sentences off the top of my head. They are generally super lame or super weird. So anyway, the last thing to really know, there are two more things to really know about English nouns. First of all is that we know the syntax, we know what a noun is doing because of where it is in the sentence, right? The subject goes before the verb. The object comes after the verb. The indirect object comes after certain prepositions or a certain placement, and objects of preposition go after the preposition. That's how we know. We know the dog bites the cat instead of the cat bites the dog, right? That's a different sentence because of which noun is in front of the verb and which noun is after the verb. So, syntax requires location in English. Second thing to really know is just what an English word contains. In English, not much. It's a little underdeveloped compared to other languages. So when you look at the form of a noun, it will have a number. So the noun will either be singular or plural. Mouse and mice. Single mouse, many mice. That's one of our regular singular plurals. Most of them we just have to add an S or an ES to. House, houses. Horse, horses. Boat, boats, right? And that's it. The S, singular, plural. Sometimes nouns have gender. We don't really talk about it a lot because we kind of just base it off biological gender. So the proper names of women use she or feminine. Proper names of men are masculine, and everything else is it. So English doesn't really care at all about grammar. I mean, well, that's true. But English doesn't really care much about gender. But that's just important to know because when we do the Latin side next time, you're going to want to compare and contrast what these things are and what they do and how they look. So until then, bye.